This morning, we're getting a clearer picture of how small business owners are feeling across America. According to a new report from the National Federation of Independent Business, small business optimism remains below average, rising just 0.1 points in April. That's below its 52-year average, but reflects a stable number over the last few months. Meanwhile, the Small Business Uncertainty Index fell 4 points in April, remaining well above its historical average of 68. To break down what this all means, let's bring in CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Morning.
Good morning.
So the optimism index only rose 0.1 points. How do you read that? Are you concerned?
I mean, I don't have a concern, but it makes sense, doesn't it? There's been so much uncertainty. Just think about the last 18 months. So we go back last year and we start with tariffs, and the small businesses have to react to that. Then they kind of get used to tariffs, and now we have war. We have a surge in gas prices. And I think that from a small business perspective, there's a real anxiety about what happens next. So I think that if you are a small business owner, I was a small business owner once, I think some of these larger geopolitical events cause you consternation, may hold you back from hiring, may hold you back from making a big change or a big plan, because you just don't know what is going to happen next. And so that uncertainty part of it, it's massive. When you go into this index, the three things that small business owners say that they're really kind of freaking them out a little bit: one, the quality of the labor that they're hiring; two, taxes, which is always a small business owner. We always hate taxes. And three, inflation. I feel like inflation has crept back up as an issue, and this is going to persist until we have some resolution in the Middle East.
So we also got some retail sales numbers out this morning. How does that tie into what we're hearing from small businesses?
Well, in this report, what we saw is that retail spending sort of cooled down a little bit during the month. And this was widely expected. I don't want there to be like, oh my gosh, what happened here? But this is a report that has a little bit of a caveat attached to it, which is we'll say, oh, retail sales expanded. It was up by this much. But this is just dollars spent. It's not inflation adjusted. So that's an important point here. And what we are seeing is just the beginning parts of consumers pulling back in some areas to be able to afford higher energy prices. What are those areas? Furniture stores, department stores, some of those retailers. And that to me is just a little warning sign. It's not like, oh my gosh, let's batten down the hatches. But obviously consumers are reacting to the fact that they have to pay more at the pumps. They are reacting to the fact that they're anxious. They themselves are anxious about what comes next.
So what do you make of both indexes showing higher than average optimism and uncertainty?
Well, I mean, listen, I think that the uncertainty is keeping small business optimism down. We are now the second month in a row below a 52-year average. That's like a real number, okay? And I think, we always say in economics that, 3 months is a trend, so I'm not going to say we have a trend yet. But I think that we have to be aware that consumers are feeling the heat. We know that the way that consumers were able to absorb a lot of the early part of these gas price increases is by using those tax refunds. They are plowing through those tax refunds. Now they are left with higher costs. So let's just say on average, $50, $100 a month. We also know that there are consumers who say, I can barely make ends meet. Not everybody. There's a lot of people doing fine. But I think from a small business perspective, you have to be aware that consumers are adjusting. I think that the gas, although it's not the only thing we spend money on, it becomes like a huge billboard for prices being higher. And that does impact our confidence level. And when our confidence goes down, we may start to shift how we spend money. I think that small business owners, they're the sharp tip of feeling those changes.
Really good analysis as always, my friend.
As
Thank you very
always.
much, Jill. Appreciate it.